Good evening and welcome to tonight's Cabinet on the 9th of November. I'd like to start with item 1 on the agenda. Apologies for absences.
We've received apologies from Councillor Maney.
Thank you very much. And then minutes for the approval of Cabinet from the last meeting on the 12th of October and both lots.
Agreed.
Fantastic. Okay then, and I received no items of urgent business. Declarations of interest. Anyone on tonight's agenda? No. Thank you. And it comes now to my statement. Well, just a small statement tonight. It's just to give everyone know some. Maybe it's some members as well. I don't know if there's any members to come tonight. We're moving forward with the recovery plan, including the Leader of the Opposition and others. We've been arranging suitable times for work streams to the recovery plan soon to be coming to group meetings to discuss this. And I really would like the input for 49 councillors as much as we can. As we move forward, this is the item that we can own and actually deliver our recovery out of this situation. And I hope members can move forward. On some good news, really. Good news. I think it's good news. It's my portfolio. I'm going to use this opportunity of like the local plan engagement dates to elected members as we move forward into a local plan. And I think I was really pleased. I've been to a couple of local plan events. We've got some more member events coming up, and I would encourage members to go through to local plan engagement to make sure your local area are fully aware of your members and going forward. And I'm just hoping to make sure that everyone's voice, as we move to a really important for the plan for Thurrock in the next 20 years, all members, and as next year the general public can get involved and make sure we own the plan and we control where we would like our destiny inside the local plan. That's my item for tonight. It's policy briefings and budgetary issues. Anyone make a comment? Okay, we move on to item 7, petitions. And is there any petitions tonight?
No, none received tonight.
Okay, then, any questions from...
No questions tonight.
That's a shame. I would hopefully next month, I understand that the members look at this month, and I have had conversations with members just to let anyone know that obviously there was no issues tonight and they're wishing to come, and they will be here next month to ask questions at the next meeting. I'm sure everyone knows on the forward plan what the issues are. Are there any members referred to consideration from ONS?
No, other than those already in the agenda.
Okay, thank you. What I can say is I enjoyed my ONS and I visited ONS. I'm going to go to try and talk to all, sit in the audience of all the ONS meetings recently now to make sure and hope. And it was a thorough enjoyable last night in Greener and Safer, and I enjoyed my evening there. Move on to item 10, contracts to supply and maintain telecoms equipment.
Councillor Arnold now, please. Thank you, Leader. This report is asking us to agree to go out to market to re-procure a contract to supply, install and repair telecare equipment, such as the dialling systems for emergency help after a fall via residents pushing a button. For me, this is the right thing to do. The existing contract expires in August. Public switch telephone networks are being phased out nationally by the end of 2025. And at the moment, about 95% of our equipment relies on that technology, the PSTN. So we need to future-proof the devices and the service we supply residents via a new contract that includes piloting digital technology whilst getting the best quality and value that we can for our residents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any comments on this item? Thank you very much. There we go. So if we look at the recommendations on item 10, the Cabinet agrees to HOSC's recommendations and go through a market of procurement, the contract, and install, maintain and repair telecom equipment. Agreed. Thank you very much. If we move on to item 11, contracts for occupational therapy and independent mobility assessment services. Councillor Arnold.
Thank you, Lisa. Again, this contract is coming to its natural end, so the right thing to do in order to protect the public purse is to go to market and reprocure. The contract facilitates the assessments needed by residents who find themselves in need of occupational therapy support via specialised equipment that allows them to remain living at home for as long as possible. This is a highly skilled area of work that we have found has provided a speedier outcome for our residents when contracted out rather than providing it in-house, and it's better value than if we tried to provide that in-house service ourselves. So by going out to reprocure, we can also reassess what we need from the contract and change parameters where necessary to be included in the new tender requirements. We're also looking maybe at the possibility of upskilling some healthcare staff to perhaps help with assessments for some of the more simpler equipment, such as grab rails, etc., in order to potentially increase the capacity around the more complex needs assessments to help do them faster. So I'd like to say yes to the recommendations if you're agreeable.
Thank you, Councillor Arnold. Any comments on this item? Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, it's just a comment, just to say it's nice to see these two items coming forward, both agreeing with an overview and scrutiny recommendation. It's good to see.
Thank you. So we'll move forward to the recommendations on page 21 of the item. The Cabinet agrees with HOSC recommendations to go to market to procure and provide occupational therapy and independent mobility assessment services. Agreed. Thank you very much. Move to item 12 on the agenda, the public health contracts spend. Deborah, I can't say Councillor Arnold again.
Thank you, Lisa. As you can see from the report, it covers both the sexual health services contract and the adult substance misuse service contract. The cost of these contracts are over £1 million each, hence them coming to Cabinet for decision making. But however, I need to point out these are very specific contracts funded via ring-fenced public health grant monies direct from government and not from our budget, so there's no implications to the general fund or MTMFS. Both of these services are mandated, and Public Health are asking to extend the life of both the current contracts by a year in order to give them the time to fully analyse data and set parameters correctly for the type of services and works that we'll need going forward to ensure Thurrock residents have the best measures in place for the future and that they align with our current health and wellbeing strategy. Ordinarily, these contracts would have been reviewed last year, but for Public Health, last year was about getting back on top of all the data analysis post-COVID in order to inform all of our service areas of the Council during the making of, as you've seen, quite a few strategies in 22 to 26, such as the new housing one, adult social care strategies and the health and wellbeing strategy itself we saw earlier in the year. By agreeing to extend the existing contracts by a year, Public Health know that they have sufficient funds to do so. If we were not to extend without full market analysis, we don't really know what the costs would be to apply and can't guarantee getting the best for residents if we was to now rush this forward. In this instance, I feel it would be of greater benefit to our residents to extend and reprocure properly with full due diligence ready for the following year. So I'd like to agree the recommendation to extend, please.
Any comments, Cabinet? Okay, I must say it's the public health is. I think I was in a meeting today discussing public health, and I think it's an unsung hero that we've not been speaking to as in Thurrock for, and most general public now didn't really consider what it's about and given the services, and they still think it's just about COVID. And I think actually this understanding that there's more to the public health is an important intrinsic part of what happened in Essex and us and Thurrock. And it's an amazing, like, sorry, the 1 year contract, but there's a wider issue of public, and we need a wider understanding of what we do in Thurrock about public health and to make sure it's not affecting us. And I think there's a good message that we've got the public are open for a public health message now because of what's happened in the last 2-3 years. And I would my comment would be we need to get it understanding that we do deal with the public health messages, and maybe this one-year contract, but when we move forward we need more of a PR about public health and what this council does around that. Thank you. I will then move to the Cabinet recommendations. If no one comment, Cabinet 1.1, Cabinet approves the one-year extension to the Adult Substance Members Abuse Service, or misuse, not members, at the current contract. Do we all agree?
Agreed.
And the Cabinet approves a one-year extension to the Sexual Health Services contract to the current value.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. And then I must say that it's a very short agenda item. I'm sure next month will be more on it, and I hope we can actually get to a statement where next month there'll be a few more members here and we're substantial, and I think we will next month we're moving forward. What I do say at the end of this, we've had a pre-briefing with the media as well this week about this item, and a wider conversation to actually deliver what I said at full council. So pre-briefing and media not here tonight, but that we haven't, me and Ian have spoken to them this week about it, and we will next month. We will have a more open cabinets with substantial conversations. Thank you.